Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the WazzyCircus Radio, the show where I get to sit down with the most interesting people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. Today's a special show, man. Some of us believe that canopies are life. Like ZP was sent from God to give us joy, like pure joy. There's nothing better than a hook turn. I live in the tunnel. I live in free fall. I don't care about free fall as much as I care about parachutes. It's this thing that God has given us to fly our bodies, and it's very organic, man. You can like connect with it. That's how I feel. And beyond me it gets dark. It gets dark. There's these guys. They got fly sites with no wingsuits. They walk straight to their laptops and they analyze every second of their skydive, man. And it's not a skydive, it's a turn. It's a turn. They live for speed. How about 108 miles an hour across the ground? What about 128 miles an hour vertically under your canopy as you dive toward the pond? I'm sitting with Jason Sanders, the fastest man on earth, flying a 50 what? Let's look at him. Let's talk about this dude. Jason.
Typically a 57.
Oh. A 57 square. He's like, I'm flying my big one today. It was a
64.
64 is big.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, skydiving's dangerous. It's so much fun. Why risk it? Why even push it, dude? Why not throw your parachute, get into a pattern, right, and just bring it in? Just bring it straight in. Talk to me, Jason.
Well, when I first started skydiving, and I could see, it was pretty early days, but there were a few, swoopers and stuff out back then. And
what year?
2001.
Okay. What job zone?
Napoleon Skydiving Center in Michigan.
Michigan. What city in Michigan?
It's close to Jackson. I'd say it's a good hour and a half west of Detroit.
West of Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay, I went east. I went to Tecumseh.
Yeah, Tecumseh. Actually, Tecumseh is, Napoleon is Tecumseh now.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I've been into your home drop zone.
Yeah. It used to be, Tecumseh used to be the town of Tecumseh, and then they shut it down, just the noise and stuff. And
okay.
Eventually they shut it down. But my original drop zone had shut down years prior to that, so they just moved out to my old drop zone. And that's new Tecumseh is my old drop zone.
The new Tecumseh is the old, because
it's old Napoleon.
It's in the center of a fucking neighborhood.
Pretty much. It's a little town. It's a small little grass airport and stuff, but it's really nice. It's beautiful. They call it the Irish Hills.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful up there.
Thick grass. The grass has got to be 4 inches thick and thick.
Yeah, and it's flat. It's nice.
Oh, it's so nice. But I was following the GPS and I thought I was lost because I was like, I'm in a fucking neighborhood and it says it's up here on the left. I was like, there's houses right here. There's no way there's an airport here. And there it is.
Yep.
Everybody's nice. Big hangar, open. Everything's, dude, that's a nice drop zone.
Yeah, when I started there, it was just an old building, old 2-story building, an old barn. We called it the Crack Shack. The owner hated it.
Okay. Is it the same owner?
No, different owner now because they shut it down.
So he owns it all now. He owns the whole field.
I'm not sure who owns that airfield now. I believe Tecumseh's just leasing it, I would assume.
No, I was told that it's all his land.
Really?
He can do whatever they want. They got houses back there now. They've got the whole RV park, and like people can live, and it's no problem.
Awesome.
It's all up to the owner. Yeah. I was really impressed, man. It's like driving through time, though, back in time. Like through the hills, like those old-ass, like Amish-looking farms and shit everywhere. Yep. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. It's really nice.
It is beautiful. And so, okay, you were there. A couple swoopers.
Yeah, I was there. I remember seeing, people had asked me about it or something, I guess, early on. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it looks really cool, but it seems like crazy dangerous, Right. And then next thing you know, like, I'm doing it, So it's like...
Yeah. How many jumps before you did your first... What was it?
I don't even remember.
Was it a 180, a 90? What did you do to get that first feeling of the drop?
270 under a 150 Lotus, which is a Brian Germain.
Yeah.
And...
270s? You went straight to a 270?
Yeah, I waited...
Rears or toggles? Not fronts.
Fronts.
What the fuck?
I didn't know what I was doing. I was 135 pounds under 150.
Okay.
And
so
it's
you were
not a
floating.
swooping canopy.
No, right,
so
right.
like, as soon as I finished my turn,
You
it just
come out.
auto-planed.
Right.
So I did a 270 at like 250 feet.
Jesus Lord.
It looked like I was going to die every time.
But you came right out.
But yeah,
You probably planed out at 90 feet.
you know, I never had a problem with it, luckily.
Fronts?
Yeah.
Lotus.
but-
150 Lotus,
Yep.
fronts, 250, you're doing a 270.
Yeah.
It was a fast 270.
Yeah, it was probably, it was a garbage 270.
Okay,
I'm sure.
yeah.
But yeah, it totally looked like I was going to die every time. But
How did it feel, though?
it was great. I loved it. You know, you gain speed. It was fun, you know, so.
What was your... Where you been swooping this... You didn't swoop for 26,000 skydives.
Damn near almost all of them.
Holy fuck, man.
I would say like more than half.
Okay, were you ever tandem, TI, AFF,
Yeah.
videographer?
Tandem instructor, I have over 10,000 tandem jumps.
There you go. That's
So-
where the numbers are. I mean, the numbers...
Yeah,
There's
working
a
in the
story
sport.
in there.
Yeah.
You got to work, bro. There's no way you did 26,000 hook turns.
Yeah, the first year I probably did 350 or so.
Uh-huh.
And probably the same thing next year. But then I started working in the sport, and then I was like 1,000 plus every year since then.
Season,
yeah.
easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then when did you stop doing tandems?
I still do. Oh,
you still hooking them?
Yep, still do.
Oh, that's sick. That's so awesome.
I got hurt last year, so then I got recurrent on tandems and stuff, but I haven't really started throwing droves again yet.
You got hurt on a tandem?
Nope. It was in competition last year. So
What was it?
speed.
Speed.
So
Speed.
on speed, well, the speed course was designed 22, 23 years ago or something like that. And, you know, our equipment and our canopies have evolved like crazy since then, right? So during a typical speed, like you're aimed at inside gate 3, you let that go underneath your armpit, and you're upright in your harness, right? Traditional. And you're probably going anywhere from 60 to 70 something, maybe 80 miles an hour.
Are you talking on the old comp velos and shit?
Well, just even on, just like your comp velos or your JFXs, things like that.
80, 90 miles an hour.
JVXs, yeah.
That's like my max I've ever gone
You know.
at the fastest.
And,
Yeah.
and that's like what the pros were doing, right?
Right,
you know?
right.
So like, then we had the Petra came out and the Peregrine, so the speeds increased, but it was still very similar to what we were doing.
To the old course.
With the old course, yeah. And then now we have the supine harnesses like the Mutant, and it's changed everything. So obviously we're going way faster, which does several things. It causes you to have to carve the wing a little bit harder to make it out of the course, because it's a carving course. So then with more speed, you have to carve harder, so it makes it a little bit harder to navigate the course. And when you start going, close to 100 miles an hour, it's hard to navigate the course without hitting something. You don't really have time to react or change what you're doing. So you need to be pretty precise. And then the most dangerous thing really is now that we're supine, we're deep in the course, meaning that our bodies are much lower in the course. So then when we're rounding 3 and 4, our lines are anywhere from a few inches to about 1.5 feet above gate 3 or 4, depending on where you put the carve in at. So now there's not much room for error. And so if you hit the speeds, if you hit that gate going 60, 70 miles an hour, it's not going to be good, but it's not too bad. But if you hit it going 90 plus, it's not going to be good.
Should the course be a foot or two wider to accommodate from where the shoulder was to the hips?
Mm-hmm. So the
right, because that's the difference.
Yep.
It's actually you're lower, so the rises are higher, so the canopy's further away. So the course actually needs to be wider, or you have to fucking hit the other pylon not to catch the other one.
Yeah, it's the height of gates, actually 2, 3, and 4. Inside 2, 3, and 4, the height of the gates, they're the issue now because we're so deep into the course with our lines coming over close to the gates. So that's the issue. And the only reason why the gates are there, obviously to mark the course, but then the height of them is for the judges to be off course looking at, let's say, inside 3 and outside 3. They're standing parallel with it, and they're watching to see if your body eclipses both of those gates, meaning that you're in course. If your body goes outside of that, then you get a 0, or above it, you get a 0 for that run. So
maybe we don't need the gates for that measurement. Maybe they could have something offshore that does the same thing, and we can lower the course to where we need, and they could just have bars with lines, whatever.
Exactly. I'm starting Swoop League. It starts here in November, and I'll have a modified, safer speed course.
Sick.
And I was going to introduce that last year in November, but I got hurt in September and couldn't, so it got pushed off in a year. So it hasn't been changed in the sport yet, but once I do change it and set the example, hopefully the FAI will adopt it and we can move forward safer in the court. And basically what it is you just replace inside 2, 3, and 4 with like really big, like how the balls we have in there for zone accuracy right now. Those, but much bigger, like a 2.5 foot wide one. It'll stick out above the water a couple of feet. And then you take what you were saying, you take the original gate used for judging, and then you just move it out, 10 meters, 15 meters, whatever, away from the course.
Judges, yeah.
So you can still see that you're in course, but now you're not going to hit it and get hurt in the course or worse.
So guys are it's happening a lot, obviously, for you to design. There's
been some serious injuries, mine, and...
so you hit 3 with the canopy?
I hit 4 with the lines, canopy, maybe a little bit of the canopy, and it drove me into the ground, or the pee pit, so it broke my right femur.
So you're coming off the pond when you hit it?
Yeah. Wow. I was actually just maybe a little off of my line, maybe by 10 degrees. But when you're, like I said earlier, like if you're flying the normal course, you're going to be within a few inches to a foot of hitting either 3 or 4. So then if you're off your line and you're having to carve a little bit harder, you may hit it.
Because it dips, because you got to dip it to carve harder.
Yes, sir. So then that's what happened to me. I had to carve it just a little bit. I think I was off my line maybe about 10 degrees or something, and then I had to carve it a little bit harder to make it out of the course, and then it hit 4 and slammed me in the ground. So I broke the femur on the right side, left side. I tore the ACL, the PCL, and the meniscus. I tore it and folded it back on itself, and then it took off the skin from like the knees down close to my ankles.
What?
And then, so then I had to wait like 2.5 months for my skin to heal before they could do the surgery on the.
So you laid around with broken legs to your.
Well, just the knee.
The knee.
They were able to do the femur right away.
Oh, they were able to rod it.
Rod. Yeah, I have a rod all the way down it.
So you're pointing. What is it? The video's up.
No, he can pull it up.
Oh yeah, pull that shit up. Pull the crash up, man. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But you get hurt. Swooping is dangerous as fuck, man.
It is.
But it is crack cocaine distilled down to its purest form, son. He said speed. I won't do anything that I would do. I won't hurl myself at any death-defying thing other than the swoop. Like, I'm not trying to take risks in life, but I will turn this motherfucker at the ground just to plane out for a second.
Yeah.
Just that feeling.
Well, getting back to what you were saying earlier, like how dangerous it is and what motivates you to want to be able to do that. Obviously, I didn't start out, going really fast right away. It's that is dangerous. But the thousands of jumps and years of experience, and over time, you learn how to, fly faster and faster and go further, and that's where I'm at today. But it's, although I'm old, like I'm 47.
You ain't old, motherfucker.
But, you know, in this sport and what I do, it's all about the older guys and the experienced guys. Otherwise, you can't learn this stuff like right away. It's just
No, it
the way
takes-
you're going to get hurt
Right.
if you do. So it takes time, but yeah, long time to get to where I'm at today. And there's, you know, you got to really want it. Cost you all your money.
Yeah, it's an obsession. It's more than passion, dude.
Yeah, and you know, you get hurt and you trash your body a lot, but you know, like you were saying earlier, like you just like going faster in a canopy, and that's me too. I love free fall, don't get me wrong, but I just don't spend any money on it anymore. You know, if I spend any money, it's going to be flying a fast canopy. You know?
Yeah.
That's where I'm the happiest, you know.
At the bottom, were you doing like 720s or some shit?
990s.
990. So it's a 180 to a 720. Is that right? 8, 9. Yeah, it's a 180 to a. How do you break your turn down?
So, I mean, I typically do 630s, but then once I started flying supine, I need to add more rotation for more time to build up speed.
Wait, explain that. Why? That's why you guys do those big ass turns, because
Yeah.
you need more.
You need more. You can do it at a smaller turn, but you won't build up as much speed, and you have to be more precise on the turn. To build up speed in a turn, you have to have it at a certain angle. For me, it's about 77-degree angle, dive angle, is where I just constantly gain speed. If I go over that angle, then I get a quick increase in speed, but then it starts to die off. Not die off, but I'm not gaining anymore.
It's like a drop, not a carve.
Yeah, it's not a consistent climb in the speed.
Right.
The other thing is with the supine harness, once you get high on the wing, and if you don't keep that same rotation speed, then your body is going to slowly
Sink
fall
out of it.
Yeah, fall underneath the wing. We call it over under. So then you're kind of like over the wing, under the wing, over the wing, under the wing.
All right, what's this?
And
Is this the crash?
This is the crash here.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Oh, fuck. I hate these. So this is the end of through them, and you're carving. Bam! Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
So I would say my
Oh,
entry
Jesus Christ, dude.
entry speed was about 98. So I probably slowed down to.
Is that the one you caught? No.
That's inside 3,
Okay, so this is 4.
and then there's 4, and then I clipped it right there. So yeah, I got it with my canopy and some lines, I think.
Damn, son.
That's
And that's
probably-
it.
I was going about 89, I think, right there.
That's it. Oh.
So that broke the femur and everything else.
And that was the P's, too.
Yeah, they're pretty jagged peas. They should be nice and smooth, but they're jagged there, and that's what tore all the skin off. But yeah, it's.
So was the pond too small, and that's why the 4 was on the dirt, or is that how it normally is?
That's how it normally is. We've been talking. Well, me and Nick have talked about like moving everything to where it's like most of the gates are over the water. You know,
Because so you're playing it out straight, then
but
it should be over the dirt because now you have control. But if you're still in the carve,
A
you should
couple
be
of-
over.
it's a couple of things. One thing is like not all venues can, or like the pond is big enough to be able to do that.
Well, this one is. If
This
you look
one is,
how
yeah.
they're more than halfway across when
And-
they start.
The other thing is if there's a headwind, then those people that are not flying that fast, they're not going to make it out of the course. They'll have to like start running, and you can kite your wing out of the course and still get a score. So that's another reason why the last couple of gates are kind of over the ground, or at least work that well, because even if you don't have the speed to make it out of the course, you can run your canopy out and kite it out and still get a score instead of a
But
zero.
that doesn't negate the last carve of this fucking speed swoop is over dirt with the pylon. Bow.
Yeah. Well,
Oh Christ.
my teammate Nick, he hit 3 in training out here, that one right there. And that's typically what most people hit. And he crashed into the P's, kind of the same as me. He's still not back to jumping from his injuries. His were more severe.
Nick who?
Nicholas Batch.
Batch.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago, coming up this next month. And he shattered his heel, tib fib, and he broke 2 of his bones in his neck. I think the little dorsal fin thing that sticks out, I don't know what you call it, but not the actual like vertebra. But it has caused neurological issues like with the nerves, and that's what he's dealing with right now. Like he's scared to even jump because it could like really mess his neck up. So
we're huge fans of Batch. We just found out that he lives here. I would love to have him on the show.
Yeah, he lives up in Phoenix. Yep. So.
So man, the balls, bro. The balls, the pylon's back. It makes it so much safer.
So much safer. We tried to tell everybody, but nobody really listened to us. And then he got hurt, and then I got hurt.
And now they have to listen.
They're Kurt is changed. Like he's using breakaway gates for 3 and 4. I think it's like with Velcro or something like that, or magnets, which is a step in the right direction, but not fixing the issue.
Let's just remove the fucking gates.
That's the fix. But
it's such a high level, small niche thing. I understand why it's not being like, it's not like there's 1,000 people doing it. You're trying to fix it. There's like 100 of you guys.
Yeah, and not all the CPE are flying supine harnesses and going 100 miles an hour. So
let's talk about that. The mutant.
But everybody will be. Next 10, 15 years, everybody's going to be flying mutants or supine for swooping and competition.
But not sport jumping.
We'll see what happens, but definitely for CP,
it has to be.
It has to be.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. We were talking about this a second ago because I have a question. So, like, my 450s are the fastest I've gotten, and I've done 630s and bigger turns, but it feels like I just lose speed halfway through, and like the 450's perfect for what I've been doing. And you're saying it takes 900 now to keep the speed up, so to keep your centrifugal force pushing out on the harness to keep the wing down.
I can generate similar speeds doing a 630 versus a 990, but it needs to be more precise. So
so the 990 you can adjust, get in, get out, speed up, slow down.
Yeah, even if it's not quite perfect on the angle, like
the 630 has to be dialed in, perfect setup. It's on because there's no adjusting.
Yeah, especially think about doing a 270 versus your 450. Like that has to be perfect. Perfect start height,
right?
Perfect turn rotation, everything, and roll out. Everything has to be pretty perfect.
That's why I hate 180s. I can't stand 180s, dude.
There's no room for adjustment. So, but yeah, if you start doing bigger and bigger turns, you have more room for adjustment. But then it also helps you, even if you have it like dialed in really good, you're going to gain more vertical speed because you have more time building speed, right? So,
right. Okay, because the more time vertically.
Yeah, but what you're describing is probably just you're rotating a little too fast. Could be too slow, but probably too fast, and you go past that point where I was talking about where you're actually gaining speed. Right. Think about it this way. If you go out to, let's say, a 90-degree angle, now, that's like the most vertical the wing can be, but now your body's stretched out and the weight's pulling out away from it horizontally, versus if you stick around 70-something degree angle, your body weight's now still underneath the wing slightly, pulling it down, your body weight. So if you do the turn crazy fast, now your body weight like swings around the parachute. It almost
over pendulums.
Yeah, it's like swinging around the parachute instead of helping it dive towards the ground.
Okay, and that's that carved feeling when you're under it.
Yeah, you should feel it like load up, and it's very tricky to keep that wing at the optimal angle. I'd say like pretty much everybody, especially if you're on supine or doing this over-under thing, it sucks. But
so is that what you're running to your laptop too and judging your angle on your?
Yeah, I'm like, it tells me my angle throughout the turn.
Sight.
Yeah, the fly sight. Yeah,
okay.
It's very essential. For me, if I don't have, like, if I forget to turn it on or if I get junk data, I'm pretty pissed because I can't figure out what I did right, what I did wrong, how to improve. If you're just going off a feel, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's something that gets you so far. So you need the data to really dial it in and get the most out of it, right? So
I've noticed. Okay, you do the swing out on that last 1.8, right, to get that speed. But you guys are coming in, and right before you enter the gate, you're throwing like a fucking 90. Is that does that speed you? Why is that a mistake, or
No.
like why not come in hot straight, or are you getting something off of that carve?
Well, what we're doing is we're bleeding off. We're basically bleeding off speed and
Let's
injury.
find something to him hitting the pond. You'll see it. He does it at the last second.
Well, are any of these mutants?
Here, I'll.
Those are all mutants. That top right one's mutant.
This one?
Yeah, hit that. Fuck it. Let's see this.
So, if you come in straight with a supine, what happens is you'll get boosted up. You know, I'm sure you've heard of that, getting boosted.
Right.
So-
We call it porpoise in paramotor. You just porpoise out.
Yeah. So all that energy and speed, like when you come in and as you plane out over the water and you're giving it a little rears, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to want to boost up into the air. So what you do is you basically,
What the fuck? Is that a 990?
that's a 990.
Jesus Christ.
So then you just
Okay.
carve it a little bit.
So you don't go up.
Yeah, you're
That
basically
keeps you down.
spilling off
Wow.
air. You're spilling off air
Can you guys see this shit?
and taking the efficiency and the lift away a little bit by doing that. And that
Oh, really?
and that was
Hold on. So that kills a little bit of speed, and that's enough to keep. That's a weird thing to keep you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like that little move kills that upward drive to keep you low.
And there's another thing going on. So we have to touch the water prior to the entry gate, right? So on that, you're also unloading the wing a little bit, right?
Right, as you touch the pond.
Yeah, you touch
you
the
change
pond,
the wing loading
You change the wing loading slightly, and that also causes it to boost and
a
go
little
up.
bit. Right.
So that's another reason why we got to spill it off just a little bit on the entry.
That's so much thought.
Yeah, it's very technical. It's crazy. And then when you're moving like 100 miles an hour, it's hard to deal with those speeds and touch the water.
And it's
You know,
not soft, motherfucker. It's like
No.
concrete when you touch it at that
Yeah,
speed.
it's pretty, yeah.
I've tried it. It's like, cow! Oh! Oh my God. So look, what we're saying is, even if you're swooping across the grass, as your feet hit the ground and you transfer your weight to the grass, your wing loading in the canopy changes because your body's lighter now. So that can give you a little more lift. It will make it more efficient because you're taking weight off the canopy, right?
Yeah, but then you don't want that on the like an entry for distance, right? Because they put the 50-meter gate or gate 5 rule in to where you have to keep the wing down or your body down until you pass that gate, and then you can start climbing if you want.
I see you climb. Isn't that scary? I mean, like
It
going
is.
way up and then you could drop because you're losing.
It is at
Performance.
first when you first start doing it, and because you don't know exactly like how hard you're going to drop on the ground.
Because you guys go high.
Yeah, when you go up pretty high, it is a little scary. But that's the old school, right? Distance body position without supine. So we're basically getting in a supine position for
I just unplugged myself. But belly, I unplugged all the mics. Yeah, so we're getting supine, but we're leaning out of the harness. We're getting supine face
pretty
first, not feet first.
exactly.
And that's the same thing you're doing, but you're entering in leaning back. Or do you plane out and then go supine?
No, I try to lean back a little bit supine on the
Before you
recovery.
plane, yeah. I've seen you. You like push, like your legs are out before you plane. Where my limited experience is, I will plane out and then lean out of the harness to get supine to get that distance. I'm not leaning as I plane. That's ridiculous.
Well,
for me,
Nick Batch started doing that years ago, and it's super scary. So basically, you finish your turn, and then you start leaning out of your harness, and so your
Jesus
chest
Christ.
is faced at so if you hit
Yeah.
the water, you're going to hit it chest first. But it's very efficient in recovery. It helps you recover quicker and maintain the speed better as well. And
I
then
know as you lean out, you do get lift.
yeah, it does help. Yeah, you do
So
like a
he's
weight
just-
shift, and it
he's
helps.
planing it with his body instead
Yeah.
of that's insane.
So yeah, he perfected that technique years ago, and I started using it, especially when we were jumping sub 60 Petras.
My dog.
And the sub 60 Petras, it doesn't want to recover very well. You know, it has like a really long recovery and it's sinky a little bit just because of the size.
Mm-hmm.
So he started like leaning out as soon as we finished the turn and helping it to recover. So it's basically like your supine as your,
Right,
you know,
right there, like
not
that
as
shot.
not as efficient, of course, but. And then when on the traditional harness, you'll see some people like lay out flat, but I always had like a bit of a 45 because you have the rig behind you.
Uh-huh.
So if you're laid out flat, you have that big rig just
So
pushing
it's like
on the air.
It's like a brake, an
Yeah,
air
like
brake. So
air
you
brake
lift
up
up the fucking. Damn it, that's so much thought. I've never thought of any of this shit.
Same thing with your feet. You don't want your feet going up really high above the rig.
Because now it's another air brake.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tell people to get their legs up and close so they're not like dragging wind when they come in, you
Yeah.
know, to make it smaller. But that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, totally. But it's this whole supine thing is such a game changer. It changes everything.
Okay, let's talk about this. Do we have pictures? What was your process for your rig? You've designed your own mutant rig.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 separate rigs. It's this crazy thing, and you're faster than everybody else by a lot
Yep.
in the Sanders rig. I just named it the Sanders. You don't have a name for it yet.
So
Let's get another video, any video, because he's like taking it apart. And you'll see like he has a harness on, but when he disconnects his mutant, the harness is just there. Like it's not even used anymore. The 3-ring's not used. The bottom tray, the canopy's out. So now we just got this thing on. Oh, we have to have him taking it apart. That's old school right there.
that's zone accuracies. That's on the traditional harness, right?
Right. What canopy is that?
That's a 64 Petra.
Okay. Whoa. That 180. You say that's the key to the speed, right? That last little whip.
Yeah. So basically,
Look at that.
So,
the whole thing, dude. The whole thing.
So the old school way to build up speed is to, again, not get too high on the wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a nice good turn, and then we put a backside pause. So we pause on the backside of the turn, like the last 180, and what that does is it takes now your body weight and lets it fall underneath the wing a little bit, and now when you snap it for that last 180 turn.
Your body goes up a little.
Yeah, so now
and
your
then
body goes
pendulums
up.
down, and that's where the speed, the earth starts shaking, the
Yeah.
wind starts vibrating and shit.
So you get that extra little bit more speed right there at the end. So like you could do that at any time in the turn, but if you do it, before the bottom end on that 180, then you're speeding up here and not speeding up as much down here, right? So
Shit. Jason.
so you can.
You ever shit yourself a little bit?
It's,
Just a little bit?
oh yeah, it's scary almost every time. Trust me.
Oh my God. Stick your hand out of the fucking car window next time going by a car on the freeway and tell me you're not scared at 80.
So
Look at this shit.
So the supine or
Let's watch that again. Let's see when you start leaning back. And everybody, if you're look at that. And there's that last little carve I'm talking about. He never comes in straight. It's that little carve. He puts it on. The whole rotation's on rears. Look at that.
Yeah.
You're not diving these supines.
yeah, there's not even any.
You don't have any
front
dive
right-
loops.
No dive loops on there. I don't use them.
What?
So I found out like really quick that doing front risers on the first part of the dive and the turn wasn't giving me any more vertical speed.
Are you still doing the stall, the double?
No.
You just full flight going
full
in your
flight
turn?
into it? Yep.
Is that just because of
It-
supine, or would you take that back to traditional also?
I do it on traditional also. Actually, that's what I used to do. I used to do 630 harness turns. That's it.
Right, but not from a stall, just full
Yeah,
flight.
Just full flight. And then I started, once I got a fly sight, and I started doing the stall surges, and it would give me about 5 to 8 miles an hour vertical more.
Okay.
So it was more, so I started doing it. And
Right.
then I didn't stop doing it until I got the supine harness because I realized it's not giving me any. Because basically what you're doing is with the stall surge in the fronts is you're putting it in the dive like super quick, and you're getting that vertical speed up fast, and then trying to build more to it. But doing the supine, like with the body position and everything going on, it's like within the first 180, 270, I'm already going over 100 miles an hour.
Well, this
So I don't need that the
This kind
fronts.
of brings up a train of thought, because like surge is slow, then you get the dive to get speed. But if you're already at full flight, you're already going fast. So why not just dive it and keep that speed up? Does that make sense? Or
Yeah,
no?
yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And but if you're doing, let's say, like a smaller turn, like a 630 or less, then
Smaller turn.
then you're
630 or less is a small turn, fuckers. I'm trying to tell you about these guys.
but then you'll
They're not normal.
if you're not supine, you can get you'll get the advantage out of using the fronts for sure, because you just start out
If you're
steeper,
not,
you start
okay.
out faster, you
Okay.
know.
Okay, so are you saying maybe because you're already sitting back, you're kind of just supine immediately as you dive? Mm-hmm. Well, that's nuts. 'Cause you're
I
almost
do.
standing.
I kind of stay a little big on the first, let's say 180, trying not to get the wing to go. It's one of the, as you probably know, like one of the hardest things is that first 90, 180, like not being too fast on it,
Right.
like being nice and
Being-
smooth and slow.
yes.
And with the supine harness, is even harder to do. Wants to
You've
really
gotta
go
really
long.
ease.
Yeah, so I stay a little bit big on that first 90, 180, and then once I get to that, 70 something, upper 70s degree angle, then I get small. I put my legs together and kind of stay small and tight, because that'll, you're going to go faster, right? So
Yeah, you can start feeling that drop, huh?
I notice, I'll get if I stayed big versus getting small, it's probably a 10-mile-an-hour difference in vertical. It's
Body position.
yeah, just in body position, it's crazy.
Body position, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with your deployments.
But years ago, they came out with a Mutant, and there was only a few Bobo and a couple other people flying it. And you could see right away, like, holy shit, like, it's going fast. Mm-hmm. That's the future. But they weren't very good at it, and it was early days, You're not going to be good at something in the early days.
No,
It's just-
you're still scared of it.
yeah, so, like, they constantly got zeros all the time. Whereas, like, me and Nick, we're beating everybody on distance. But if they didn't get a zero in distance, they usually went as far as us, or maybe even further. And same, and definitely with speed, they go way faster, right? So, but they get a lot of zeros in speed.
In the
so-
mutants. In
yeah.
the mutants, that you guys are still traditional.
But then, like,
What team
more-
is this? It's you batch?
Bobo's on the. He was on the PD Factory.
He's factory team.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Nick and you are what?
Me and Nick were on Alter Ego.
Alter Ego.
Kurt's team for
Yeah.
many years.
Sick. You were
And-
Bartholomew's team. Oh my god.
And then
So
we left
cool.
them 2017, and then we were sponsored by San Diego for X amount of years, and then now we're both sponsored here at Skydive Arizona. Yeah.
Awesome.
But so we were like, okay, well, we're not worried about the supine thing yet. They're just getting zeros, and then a bunch of people started flying them, and next thing you know, they got good at it, and they stopped getting zeros, and we're like, oh shit.
Right.
We need to learn to do this, because we're not going to be able to compete anymore.
And did you go try a mutant? Did you go do
So
the
yeah,
whole
that
thing?
was the last time we did a nationals was 21. Nick won that one, and he had come off an injury, hadn't jumped for 3 years. I think he put in 50, 70 jumps maybe a month or two prior to nationals, and then won it. But he's just naturally talented.
Yeah.
He's hands down the best canopy pilot in the world.
When he landed that Petra for the first time?
Oh, and like that, he did a 222 meter run. In
Look up Nick Batch
2010.
Petra, please. Nick Batch Petra.
Yeah, go to YouTube 2010 Big Boy Pants.
Big boy pants. No one had seen anything.
Oh, it's incredible, dude. It's so, like, I think at the time maybe it was. Well, the rules are a little different. So the rules used to be, you had the gates for the entry, the same spot on the water. They're 5 foot gates, meter and a half, and you just have to eclipse those gates like you do on speed. And then after that, there's no 50-meter gate, so you can climb right away.
Okay.
So yeah, Nick would hit that, start climbing right away, and he would go really high, scary high. So he was setting records then at like, I think around 140 meters, 150 meters. And then they had this Big Boy Pants competitions to set records, because it's in mile high and elevation 5,000 feet. And
It's Colorado.
yeah,
Here it is.
so here it is. Yeah.
Listen, we had never seen. We had swoopers like Andy Beck and Jack Reeves. Watch this, pow. And then he speeds the fuck up and leaves the county.
And then it looks like he's going to come down. Nope.
Nope,
Keeps
he's
going,
still
keeps going,
fucking
keeps
going, dude. So now you can see this on any average weekend, but this was brand new, bro. Everybody would be planing out right now. They'd be planing out and hitting the dirt, and he just took off. Look.
Yeah, like where he's at right now is like the current world record at that point, like 150 or something.
And he's still going.
Still going. It's crazy. So amazing.
Look, nobody can believe it. Look at the people on the ground. Everybody was like, what the fuck was that?
So crazy. Yeah, like just destroyed it. And then right after that, they started talking about changing the rules. There's a little bit of controversy. I won't talk about it today just because it,
Whatever, yeah.
But the politics of everything. But basically, because of Nick Batch, they changed the rules, like, oh, we're going too far, everything like that. So
We're going too far?
Well, they said, and the same thing with speed, like we're not going to have venues, like we're not going to have the room, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Whatever the excuse was, but basically they said we're going to change speed and we're going to change distance. And so for distance, they said no more climbing high, like right away. You have to actually touch the water prior to the entry gate, and then you have to stay down for 50 meters, and then you can start climbing if you still have enough energy.
To limit distance?
To limit how far we were going, Well,
because of drop zone size, or because they just
drop zone size, venue size was the excuse.
Like haterisms.
That's
like telling Simone Biles that's too many flip twists. You can't go that high, Simone.
Well, without saying what actually went down, I could tell you this. So they had I forgot what they called it, but they had this event where they were going to test event. We're going to test these out. So they're like, okay, we're going to make it safer because it's too dangerous to climb up crazy high and then come down.
Okay.
As was the original excuse. But now, instead of eclipsing gates, we have to touch the water. So we have to dive bomb the water, hit the water, touch the water, and then go. In my mind, that actually made it more dangerous.
Because the entry gate speed's faster than the exit gate speed.
Yeah, of course. So, and then the other thing they were saying, well, okay, let's do a straight line drag speed. So you have to drag through the gates. And then, your fastest time, right, wins, So they set up the event. They started out with distance. Everybody got about similar scores, and Nick wasn't like crushing them or anything like that. It was the scores. It was very new, like new techniques and everything, right? So everybody was kind of on par with each other as far as the distance they were getting.
So they patted themselves on the back on that. They're like, "We did it.
We did it." So they approved that for the new distance. Then they went into speed, and Nick annihilated everybody in speed, and they're like, oh, well, we're not going to use the new speed rules
because he's too good.
Exactly. So I mean, and maybe that's just conspiracy, but pretty much they changed the rules to try and compete with Nick.
So fucking Batch, cheers to Batch. This is before Supine, so now they're out of their fucking league completely. Now they don't know what the fuck to do.
So
right? Because now everything's longer, faster, further, more intense.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, so when I first started running supine, I was getting like close to, 200 meters. And then once I figured it out.
Speak to me in feet.
That's
700
and nearly 800 feet.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And then quickly after that, like pretty much all my runs are over 200. And then.
It's over 1,000?
Obviously a downwind, you're going to go further, right? So since I started practicing on it and training, competing, all that stuff, I think the most I'd been in is maybe like a 1 or 2 meter downwind or something. We can compete up to 7 meters.
What does that mean?
That's like 7 meters per second. So that's like, that would be like 19 miles an hour, I think, something like that.
Oh, winds.
Wind speed, sorry, yes.
For the D-dub, for the downwind.
Yeah, so like in competition, we
God.
can go up to
19.
7 meters per second, so like 18, 19 miles an hour.
Do you prefer that in a competition? Would you prefer 19 or would you prefer a 10?
I would prefer something maybe around 12, 15 miles an hour.
That's
like,
still cooking downwind.
still cooking. Oh yeah. I would say back in the day, I liked a light downwind versus a strong one. Now I'll take the strong one, but so I was getting, I think, a max of like 230, 240 in a light downwind.
Yeah. We're back, man. Technical difficulties. Always bring more batteries. Back to supine harnesses. We're back here with Jason J. Sanders, fastest man on earth, talking about feet first, hauling ass. Nick Batch, teammate. We're back at the game. I guess you guys didn't need that recap, but I did. All right, bring it in. So let's talk about how you. Okay, Did you jump the mutant? That's where we were at, I think.
Yeah. So like I said, end of 2021 nationals, Nick won that. And we were like, hey, like we have to learn this. We have to get a mutants. We have to learn this. That's where it's going.
What was the moment? Was it?
Well,
Bobo?
So no. It was just like we saw it coming, but like I said, like for years, like people were getting zeros, so we're like, we don't want to get zeros and stuff. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. But they stopped getting zeros and figured it out, and we're like, okay, we got to start doing this as well. So
no paragliding experience, any speed flying experience?
I have zero. Nick
Really?
has some ground launching, no speed fly, but like ground launching, like I think like 10, 15 years ago, he was ground launching with the GLX or something like that.
Right.
So he's got a little bit of experience in that. And that's actually when he was trying to get Mirage to build a mutant type harness for swooping. And they wouldn't do it. And then, so after nationals, we're like, okay, we got to look into getting, a rig and stuff like that. And
Come a little closer to the mic.
we got a little bit of training, or we got the supine training, the UPT mutant training, and Nick bought Logan Donovan's one of her mutants, and then I was going to use Jarrett, local here. He actually has one of the original ones. It's considered a prototype, and he was going to let me use that. And I actually did the training. I sent
What's
in.
the training like? Is it a lot of hanging harness, or do you actually jump?
Yeah, it's a lot of hanging harness. They teach you how to adjust the harness, and then put it to where you want it, and you go over the cutaway sequence and how to do that.
Is it crazy different?
It is. It's not crazy different, but it's a little different. And with the mutant setup and the cutaway, it's pretty difficult. There's a lot of tension on it. I think it's needs to be redesigned, and I believe they are working on that, or they've already made an update.
Because they're trying to use the traditional design on this new thing.
Yeah,
and there's more pressure. There's new pressures in the new system.
Yeah, there's like instead of having you have two cutaways. So you have your original cutaway, right, and then you have a secondary cutaway. So the risers are attached at your shoulders, and then the secondary one, you use that one first, and then it attaches the risers from your shoulders, and now the rings are much, like, I'd say below your chest strap, or about at the chest strap, or below. And then they have a seat belt that you release, and then that actually puts them into the supine position.
Oh, that's just to get it flying, not to cut away.
And that's just to get it flying in that supine position.
So if you have a cutaway, you disconnect the shoulders, then you have to cut away.
Now it's on the
waist.
There's the way they have it set up is you can put your thumb in both handles basically and pull them all together.
But there is two separate.
Yeah, but there's two separate.
So when there's not an emergency, you use the one to get to the supine. But if it's an emergency, you grab both.
So if it's an emergency to cut away, let's say on deployment, you haven't went supine yet, and it's still attached.
Right.
Not only to your ring, but to the harness, but also on your shoulders as well. So you're not, so it deploys with off your shoulders and not in front of your chest, which is a little bit better. But honestly, you don't even need it. Like Nick, he stopped using that right away. Just let it deploy with the rings further down. But anyway, so yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, you don't really need it. It helps for sure. So anyways, if you have a cutaway, then you're basically pulling that handle and you're pulling all four cutaway cables at the same time.
Right.
There's a lot of tension on it.
That sounds like a lot of tension.
Yeah, people have had issues with it before, and I think they've done improvements on that.
No, that sounds fucking terrifying.
It is very
Because if you're in
terrifying.
a spin and you got all that tension plus the spin,
Yeah.
would you maybe go one then the other, or you try to do all four with superhuman
Definitely
strength?
the one and the other. We want to keep them separate, right? Because if you got a malfunction on that system, then you're going to be spinning really fast. So if you were to have like an RSL or a Skyhook, something like that, or Mard, it's just going to spin up your reserve, or worse. You
Right.
know, could be worse.
We had that conversation on the last show
Yeah.
about what what's better.
And I stopped using RSLs and all that kind of stuff years ago, decades ago. I don't use that stuff.
At all.
No. AAD, of course. Well, not for swooping. I don't turn it on because I can't. But if I do any kind of free fall stuff or whatever, yeah, I'll turn my AAD on. But besides that, yeah, nothing else. No RSL, no Skyhook or anything like that.
So this has helped me understand your system a lot better. A lot better.
My system's way safer.
You think it's safe, but it's two separate harnesses.
It's safer, it's faster, it's just all around better.
Okay. Because I saw in your video, you disconnect the shoulders and you're just sitting in your harness. Why don't you go straight direct deployment to your harness then?
You can, and I did for a little while.
Okay.
But then I had when you have line twist in that situation, now the rings are you're in the supine position, so now
You can't
your
kick
body
them.
weight is evenly distributed pretty much.
It's not vertical.
You don't have anything to swing
There's
and kick.
no.
Oh
shit.
and I've tried, and you can kind of do it, but it's not. Yeah, it's not.
What do you
possible.
got, like, kind of try to swing up and then turn? Because if you're just back, you're like on a swing. It's hard.
You're just effed, really. So all right. So when I originally let's back up to where we
God.
started the supine stuff. So
Yeah.
so we did the training. That was all good, and then I needed to get a new reserve ripcord for Jared's old rig.
Okay.
And when I did that, they were like, "Oh, that's Jared's old, that's a prototype rig. Like, we actually want to get that back and inspect it." And so then he's like, "I don't want to send it to them. They might not send it back,
Right.
especially if they find something wrong with it." And they said, "Look, you don't have to send it to us. That's okay. You can keep using it. We send it to you for a reason, but we don't want anybody else jumping it." So then I was kind of effed at that point. So. And it's like a year wait or something for a mutant harness, and I was already thinking about building my own anyways. So when that happened, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna make my own." So within 3 weeks, I built it and test jumped it, and it's like blew me away how amazing it worked.
What the fuck, man? That was too much to unpack. This is cutting edge new technology that just came out.
Yep.
And you were like, I'll do it better.
Well, I did realize a long time ago, anything you really want to do, you got to do it yourself.
You told me that the other day.
So
what did you use? I mean, without the paragliding experience, like you have no basis to build this on. Where did you come up with the harness? Are you a rigger? I don't understand, Jason.
I'm a rigger, but it's not like I was reinventing the wheel,
Yes, you were.
Not really. I mean, basically, the mutant, once it's all said and done, the process of their elaborate cutaway system they have, and then the seat belt, and then put you into the supine position and all that stuff. That's some good engineering, but basically all it's doing is taking your 3 rings from above your shoulders
and bringing them to your hips.
and bringing them over your hips. That's all it's doing, And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm like, well.
What did you use as a harness?
So I started out with a Carver 2 Speedfly harness.
Oh.
And I only did that just because I wouldn't have to build the seat and everything.
Right. So you didn't reinvent the wheel. I get you.
Yeah, I just took what was already being used and modified it, basically.
Yes, okay.
So then the next one I build, I'm going to build it from scratch. I won't use and the only thing I actually used in the Speedfly harness was the harness itself.
Right.
I took all the straps and everything off and actually cut it down and made it smaller and stuff like that. But now that I have an idea what it's supposed to look like or what it could look like, and the size and everything, I can just build it from scratch now. But so what I did was I started with that. I cut all the straps off. I put my own straps on it with a a ring to hook your 3 rings up, and a cutaway and all that good stuff. And then I just put them where I thought they should go.
Right.
And then I built a hanging harness system, so then I could hang in it and then just kind of feel it out and be like, oh, I don't like it there, I'm going to move it here, you know. And I just kept moving straps around and moving where the 3 rings were until I this seems right to me.
Right.
You know, this is what I think I want out
Mad
of it.
scientist.
And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to figure out how to attach it to the rig.
Is this your garage? Where is this at?
Yeah, just in my house, in my garage or whatever.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, so basically all you have to do is put it underneath the rig. You don't have to attach it to the rig.
Hold
you don't
on,
have to
guys.
modify the rig.
Hold on. Listen. Because, goddamn it, you're talking fast. Oh, Jesus Christ. He has 2 rigs on.
Well, it's just one rig. So one regular system rig, right? And then I'm using let's just call it a speed fly harness.
So it's 2 harnesses.
Yeah, it's 2 harnesses, yes.
So you're wearing 2 harnesses.
Yeah, so you take a speed fly harness
Right.
and you put it underneath
The skydive rig, and look, and it's temporarily attached to the skydive rig with the first 3-ring system and the tray. And when you get up, you disconnect it from the skydive rig, and now you're in your harness.
It's the there's no real attachment, but I am using the main tray to pack the main.
So you're not even using the 3-ring
Nope.
system at all. You're just routing it
Yeah, just routing it.
for deployment.
Yeah, I'd prefer the main to be on the top and the reserve to be on the bottom, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
I was just laughing. Hold on.
if I could make my own rig, it would be main on top,
Doesn't
reserve
that make
on bottom.
sense though?
It does.
That makes way more sense.
Way more sense, especially supine. And then also I
Hold
would
on,
make
hold
the
on,
rig.
Hold on. Fucking fuck. Stop
You know
everything.
what a fairing is, right?
Yeah, on a motorcycle.
All right, so I would shape the rig like a fairing, so that way behind you cut the turbulence and you'll go even faster. Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jason. Hold on. Oh my God.
But I was going to do a tertiary, so where it's completely independent of the rig, and I actually have 2 mains. So I have the regular main and the regular rig, and then I have a tertiary, another D-bag, let's say, on my waist, and then I just deploy that, and then now it's 100% completely separate than the rig.
I'm still stuck on why is our reserve on top and our main on bottom, if you really think about it. If you really think about it, the reserve should go on top, it comes right out, you cut it away, then the reserve has, it makes more sense to be on the bottom.
You don't have to go past the reserve.
Right, that doesn't make sense.
I would imagine just over time, wear, sitting down and stuff like that, having the reserve on the bottom. Because when I thought about this,
Okay.
The actual bottom part of the tray would actually just be like a spacer foam. It wouldn't even be like where the reserve was.
Right,
You know,
right.
it would be like closer towards the center, and then the main would be on the very top. You know,
Fairing.
it would look really weird, but
Would you actually have plastic on this?
yeah, I
fucking
would think
thing?
spacer foam and maybe like
in the shape.
yeah, like a plastic or something to shape it and mold, when you pack a base rig, you just flat pack it and you fold it in on top of it like that.
Right.
Well, imagine instead of just being flat like that, then you had a shape, let's say like a triangle, like a fairing shape, and then you just laid the reserve over it like that.
So it just stays in that shape.
Stays
so
in
you're
that
cutting
shape.
through the air like a bottom of a boat or something.
Yeah, pretty much. You're
That's
cleaning up the turbulence or the airflow behind your body, basically.
So what is the future of this shit? I mean, your canopies are already small enough. What are they going to do? What can they do?
The canopies is going to start to evolve more for sure.
Do you think they can go further?
Oh yes. You know, it was a huge leap from, let's say like the Velocity to the Peregrine or the
Right.
JVX to the Petra.
Right.
Huge step.
Hugely.
Huge.
Was that liquid dynamics or was that a rumor?
What's that?
That they used water flow to figure out more efficient wings.
Julian, the inventor of the Petra, he was using 3D modeling, what you're talking about, to build the wing 3D and then have the airflow and then be like, oh, okay, if we do it, taper it here more, there, it's going to give it.
So he did, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Fluid dynamics to
Yes.
make it just fucking cut.
Yes.
And they can take it further.
And drew
Of
it,
course they
it looks like I don't know this for sure, but I'm assuming he drew inspiration from the paragliding wings,
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So, but, and that's where a lot more innovation's coming, at least from me. So I want to take the nose, like on a paraglider, you have on the nose, there's like a stiff, like a
Upper
wire
ridge,
or something in the nose. It keeps the nose shape.
Yeah.
There's a new material now they're using that it's pliable or soft, so you can move it and bend it.
But
it'll go back to its original shape.
Almost like a good plastic that doesn't break.
So I want to do the
But
same
you're gonna
thing.
pack it.
Yeah, so like you pack it, it's gonna bend and move, and
Right.
and then when it opens, it should go back to that same shape.
Would you need that
keep the
rigidity even with the wind passing through the nose? You think it would add to it?
I don't know if it's
paragliders
gonna,
still collapse. They're not.
and they're not going the speeds.
not.
Like
Right.
you're talking about like 100+ mile an hour speed on the nose.
Right. And paraglider noses are kind of tapered down, so they might fold under those speeds.
So it's I mean, these are just like thoughts I have.
I hear you. No, I hear you.
The,
This is how the shit works.
Yeah.
You have to have these conversations.
the main thing I think is going to come from a new riser, new line type setup, to where when you're pulling on the rears, you're not deforming the wing. You're just shortening and lengthening the lines, the fronts and the rears. I mean, they already have that on I think the Mustache, which is a paragliding. I have a couple of ideas on how to actually do it.
Dude, the Mustache is the shit.
Is it? I'd love to get one, but I don't even have. I need to get my P, whatever.
Right. So, the Mustache. It's a paragliding wing, but you can use it for a paramotor too. So you can use it for paramotoring also, but it's kind of tough to do. So in paramotoring, to get max speed, we need a speed bar that pulls down on the fronts, because when we give power to a paramotor, it climbs. So you put a speed bar on, you pull down on the fronts, and you can get more forward speed because you're diving the parachute as you're climbing it, basically.
Yeah.
The Mustache allows you to put your hands up, and it's as if you're flying a speed bar.
Yeah, it's got the speed bar built into the toggles, basically, and then you engage it with the toggles, and then at some point you're going to go past to where you're past the speed bar, but now it's like you're pulling on the rears at that point.
Right, and it's but it's active flying, and that's the problem with paramotors. You can't put your arms up and rest. You put your arms up, it hauls ass. You got to power up, and now you're there is no resting. So you have to be engaged the whole time at half flight, because you go up, you're going full flight as if you're stepping on the speed bar. It's a crazy parachute. So for paragliding, dude, they don't collapse. Have you seen them? They're fucking amazing.
I've seen them, but not up close. And then I was looking and inspecting a speed bar the other day, and I was like, well, I could incorporate that. I was like,
On a fucking Petra?
But I mean, how cool would that be to be like instead of like having to carve it, entering the distance run,
you just tap the bar and you keep it
push
down.
on the speed bar and keep it down.
That would be. God damn it, Jason.
But
mad science.
Man, that's gonna be tough and twitchy, and I don't know if that's actually where it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go. Well, I talked about earlier, where you can adjust the angle and the dive of the wing like you do with the rears, but without deforming the wing. And that's like a whole new riser setup.
Is that pulleys?
Yeah, I have an idea with a pulley and like a bar that you hold on to with you got your toggles in your hand and you got the bar here. So if you push forward like this, that's a dive. If you pull back like this, it's like pulling on the rears, right?
You're insane.
But you're not changing the shape of the wing.
How much faster you want to go, man?
Faster. I always want to go faster. It's dude, going over 100 miles an hour when I'm going 90 something, it's like, oh, this is so slow.
I can understand.
But to get back to the supine thing.
Yes.
So my original thought was to build tertiary, completely independent. And I started that, and I was just like, there's just so much more to build and do. And I was like, okay, I'll just use the rig for now, and I'll go back to that. Well, I ended up going back to that a few years ago, and or last year, I went back to the tertiary, and I built that, started doing it. But at the same time, I had a strap on my chest. It's kind of aggravating, and but it helped keep me more upright on deployment.
Okay.
Because again, if you're too supine, you can't fight it, right? So I had a couple of line twists, was able to fight it no problem, and then I usually don't have line twists and things. So then I kind of just stopped using it. And then when I went to the tertiary, I wasn't using it. So I was pretty much fully supine as it deploys. But because I was using tertiary in different methods, it was causing line twists and different things and malfunctions. And I couldn't get, like the first one, I couldn't get out of it. It had me pinned back really hard, so much to where I can't see where the cutaway handle is. And I can't like twist my body around.
And your head is fighting the centripetal force.
Yeah, you can't
now.
even. I couldn't
You
even
couldn't
like
get your
bend.
chest.
I couldn't look up like
God.
that. You're moving too fast.
Yeah.
It's like I
So
can't.
you're
do this.
banana backwards.
Yeah, so they're like pinned out like this, and then so my body wasn't doing it, and then I can't see where the handle is. But I did try like pulling on the riser to try and get it. I got it going the other direction, but I couldn't fix it. So then reaching for the handle, I took it off of the rig. I put it back on the rig now, but I took it off of the rig and I put it on my harness. So it's in a weird like spot now.
Right.
But I couldn't see it, so I missed it, and then I just went up to the riser and traced down, and then okay, there it is. But it like took me way too long to find it. So
In
then
a
I was
dive,
like,
spinning, losing
yeah. So then I
altitude.
moved it back to the harness because I know where that's at.
Were you?
you know?
Do you feel it like passing out at any time? Did you feel the fucking?
No, I think. Well, decades ago, I had a pretty bad tension knots on a JVX, and it was going, and I'm trying to fix it, and then I had a moment of like my eyes closed, and I was like, "Whoa, shit!"
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, cut away." And then I was like, "All right, you got to do the whole like jet fighter thing, right? Like, what they tell you, like,
Yep.
well, not that extreme, but just kind of tense up. Basically, you can't stay relaxed. Like
Right.
I was just way too relaxed, and then the blood drained, and so it made me almost want to pass out. So I guess now I've just got it built in. Like anything happens, I'm tense and I'm fighting it. So I guess that helps because I've been in some pretty gnarly ones, way gnarlier than that one, and haven't passed out from it.
Have your sub 70s ever spun up on you?
Oh yeah. These are all sub 70s, for sure.
What is the power like when you're fucking spinning on your back on one of those things?
It just feels like violent, out of control, and then you have that in the back of your mind that you gotta fix this, or you gotta take care of the situation, or you're pretty close to dying.
You don't have-
basically.
yeah,
you
yeah.
have that, like you're gonna die if you don't do something in your head in that situation because it's so violent,
Oh my
And you're running out of time like, very fast, right?
Would
But
you-
I
would you-
always fight all my
Would you
stuff.
still suggest swooping?
Yeah, I think swooping is good. Like I'll still suggest it, but it's a long road there. You got to want it.
Right.
You got to want it. But getting back to the supine thing, so it's I definitely got a lot of flack for it, of course.
Yeah, building your own shit and trying to get on the plane.
Yeah. But what people don't realize is, or don't think about necessarily, is it's not USPA that governs skydiving. It's the FAA.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping out of an airplane is governed by the FAA.
Right. USPA is a club.
Yeah, exactly. So to jump out of an airplane, you have to have
A reserve.
you have to have a FAA TSO'd rig, 2 parachute system rig, and you have to have a FAI TSO'd rig, reserve, and packed by FAA rigger, and you meet those requirements.
You can go
do whatever
skydive.
the fuck you want.
You can go skydive.
Back in the day, what was it, the Gypsy Moth?
Gypsy Moth.
And the dude was throwing out all those rounds. How many rounds did he get
I
out?
don't
Like
know, yeah.
12 or
I've
so
had
many?
a friend that threw out 6.
That's crazy. Like, so yeah, you can build whatever you want and then go out and jump out as long as you have a reserve and you meet all the.
My boss used to tell me you could put dirty laundry in that motherfucker if
Yep.
you wanted to, as long as you had a reserve.
Exactly. So then, and then the other thing is, obviously now you can't make any modifications to the harness of the rig or the reserve or the or the reserve handle, anything that has anything to do with reserve. You can't modify that because now you're violating the TSO. So
But you didn't do that.
No. So like
You're messing with the main only. The reserve is still in place.
So it's just I'm using the main tray of the rig and that's it.
That's it.
So
It's just hard for me to like get that.
yeah.
You know, because you're just running the risers through the flaps to the main tray, and this thing's just free.
So think about it this way, like, so you have your traditional rings are right here, right? So now I have a speed fly or paragliding harness with the straps coming from my legs and behind my back.
So do you have tucks right here to have it run up the harness?
So no, it's just straps from my mid back going up to where the 3-ring connects, and then the 3-ring down to your legs, right?
Okay.
And then back from your legs back up, right?
Right.
So, so basically it's 3 straps essentially, like leading in. It's actually more than that, but so you have your risers and your 3 rings connected right here, and then the straps going behind your back and then around your thighs. So it's just kind of floating here, pretty much, you know.
Is there any chance of backflipping out of these things?
No, I don't think so, but yeah, because it's hard to get in and out of this thing already. So like coming out of it's going to be almost.
You're not coming out, but like leaning too far back and over rotating out, and now you're like belly to earth because you're too far back. It's more of a seat, right?
Yeah, I could see it. Well, I do have a limiter that I hook the 2 rings together to keep it from spreading out very far.
To keep you from going too far
and
back.
that would keep you, but so there's a lot of advantage. There's a few advantages on my harness compared to the Mutant. Like the Mutant is still connected to the rig and the shoulder, so you can only lean back so far.
Right.
On the Mutant, right? Whereas mine, it's not connected to the rig, so I can plank if I want to.
Listen, that explains a lot. We were researching you yesterday, and we're watching all these Mutant videos, and I keep telling her, like, no, it's not like that. You got to see Jason's. It's not like that. It's from the hips. But you really can't tell on the first-person view on the Mutant videos. Your video, that shit is very clear.
Yeah,
it's obvious. It's nowhere near your shoulders.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, it looks cooler.
It definitely puts you in or it's easier to get into a more of a supine aerodynamic body position, but also I think the rings are a little bit more over my hips versus they're a little bit closer to the chest.
Right, that's what I was saying. Is there any fear of over rotating out because they're so far down by your hips? Your upper body's heavier. I'm just thinking the weight's got to be a little nutty.
I'm sure. I mean. I imagine you could do it, but it's just like anything else. Like you wouldn't do anything crazy under your normal harness either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I can't because I'm hanging from my shoulders, though. There's no way I can do that.
You could flip forward pretty easy.
Yeah, you could out of the harness. Yeah. You could. I hear what you're saying.
But like it would be the same thing. It's like you're going to get in trouble if you were to do that.
Right.
So you just won't. It's not easy to like. It's not real easy to do either. So.
How's that sight picture looking down your body to your feet for the judgment of landing as opposed to being face and body forward?
Yeah. It's not a big deal. It is like I'm trying to like lean back way more, but that's kind of hard to do and still see where you're going.
Right.
But for the landing part, just your peripheral and everything, you can see your altitude. So it's like that doesn't really.
And are you able to set it down as softly as you were?
Actually softer, because we're with the supine, you're going much faster, and you don't have to climb. Well, it changes the climb too. Like, so I'm still climbing, but when I'm practicing, I don't ever climb, and I go just as far, if not further, without even climbing. And the only reason why we climbed before is because we weren't going as fast. So like, we would climb up really high, and the higher you could go, when you transfer to toggles, you're going to carry further, right? But now, we're going so fast that, let's say, at the 50-meter gate, if I were to jam on the rears there and start climbing, I'm actually killing my forward speed now. I'm pitching the wing up, I'm causing drag on the wing.
Right, making it less efficient.
And I'm killing speed by pulling on the rears too. But if I just let it go, not even climb, you'll actually go. I'm almost convinced. I'm pretty much convinced now that you don't need to climb.
But and you're controlling with just harness leaning back a little bit more?
Just leaning, not climbing at all. Like, because I feel like it carries the speed so well that as soon as you start pulling on the rears to try and climb, you're killing it.
You might as well be pulling on toggle.
And yeah, you might gain a little bit by climbing, but you're losing a lot in the speed. So I think the the pro cons in there just don't weigh out anymore for climbing.
And when we're talking about the cutaway system, nobody's flying a 150 on a fucking Mutant. Everybody's sub 100 is for swooping.
Yeah.
So the danger factor is just multiplied exponentially because of the only reason you're flying the Mutant is because you're under something small trying to make it go faster. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, it gets a little weird, like, flying big canopies that aren't, super aggressive. Only thing I've flown big on it was like I think it was a 80 or 90 something velocity. When I first started jumping it,
That's
like
big,
for the training.
Yeah.
And it felt like shit. It flew like shit. It felt like shit. It was like real twitchy feeling, and it was just, it didn't want to fly very well at all. But as soon as I threw a Petra on it, it was like, oh, this is the way the parachute wants to fly.
That's sick.
It's like such a big difference between supine and traditional harness on those wings, like a Petra or Peregrine or whatever.
All right, let's get to this Friday freakout. Let's let Jason talk to us through this. We found a swooping Friday freakout. Jason Sanders, man. Tell us about how to find your videos, how to follow you online, and how to get free coaching. I know you charge. He charges, and it's worth it, but he also offers free coaching.
Yeah, I try to do every first Saturday of the month out here at Skydive Arizona. Call it Canopy Club.
And listen, there's guys with like 30 jumps that were coming to me like, yeah, Jason's the man. He was helping me out with this and that. So it's not just swoopers. It's everybody under a parachute are really benefiting from you. That guy Mike, he was just on the show. I did a jump with him. You know Mike. You talked to him. Yeah. He loves you, man. Yeah, he was like, yeah, Jason taught me this and that and this, because he was in your course recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I love helping people. I love sharing knowledge, and this is the thing I'm most excited about, right? So, I'll talk to somebody for hours and hours and hours, and they have to pay me,
Right on. And then, what is coaching like if I need to hire you for a day? Or two?
Coaching's $250 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's as many jumps as you can do. He'll go out, film you. He'll debrief you. You guys will sit down and do fly sight. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's fucking
whatever
amazing.
You want to work on.
You guys, you don't, dude, like, there's 1,000 free fly coaches. There's not many good Canopy coaches. Okay, here we go. Friday Freakout. Thank you to team for putting on the Friday Freakout. We're going to try to learn something from this. She hits the ground hard. I don't know if it's a she. I just saw pink. All right, this is there's a landing area. Where's she in? She's in rears. She hasn't stowed her slider, so she's probably got 200 jumps. She's been in, no, she's just holding, huh? She's just flying. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Okay. Double fronts, turn, let it go, let go. Art flare, fucking something. Oh, fuck, I almost pulled the thing out again. God damn it, son.
I'm sure they probably like do a slow-mo or something.
All right, so you guys, if you're not watching, she's 180 feet, 150 feet. She's doing a big, slow 180. And right now, she should let go. She's still in the dive. She should be flaring hard. Her hands are still in the... Did you see that?
So what it looks like to me is she finished the turn, and then she didn't transfer from fronts to rears.
Right, to toggles
and then
everything.
when she wanted to start pulling the input on the rears to pull it out of the dive, she actually started pulling the fronts. I could see it going more to the right.
Watch it,
you
watch
can see
it.
it right?
Right.
There, it goes to the right.
Oh.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like she had the transfer from the fronts to the toggles before she hit the ground. Or maybe it had been about the same time.
No, it looks like she was still holding on the fronts when she tried to flare. That was aggressive. She's coming out. She's still turning. Right here, she should be out. But if there's a glance, her left hand was still in the fronts. Dude.
She totally pulled the fronts.
But we don't know if this is a girl.
I've seen that happen before, where someone jumping on a Leia that shouldn't have been, and just kind of winging it on his own without getting any coaching, which is just,
terrifying.
There's like, swooping isn't necessarily, like, skydive is dangerous, swooping is like, makes it even more dangerous, but you can go about it the right way. You can mitigate the danger a bit, but like winging it, that's not mitigating the danger. That's asking to die, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had a friend hook it in. I was filming landings. He did a 180. his last words before he did it was, what did he say? He goes, "Here goes nothing."
Yeah,
and he did straight in the ground. He's been in a wheelchair for 20 years. So this is reality. Like that's my view of swooping.
Yeah, well, it's like, you can't take chances in swooping, and it's the same thing with skydiving. You can't take chances in skydiving.
No.
You need to be disciplined. You need to be in control. You need to take, there's like, what do you call it? Not educated guess, but trying to looking for the word, but mitigating the risk, of a situation. There's only so much you would do. Like, there's only so many places you would actually go and do a base jump. Like, oh, that place is a little too sketchy, or beyond my skill level at the moment, or whatever the case may be. But just having this, I think I can do this attitude. That's gonna get you hurt or worse, 100%.
Yeah. God damn it.
But so this guy, he was on a Leia. I think he did like a 360 or something turn. I'm not exactly sure. But then he finishes the turn high, and then as he's coming in, where you would probably initiate your rears, you see him, he still has his hands in his fronts, and he pulls the fronts down. And so he basically front risered himself into the ground. Luckily, it wasn't a riverbed. It was at Skydive Santa Barbara. Skydive Santa Barbara in Lompoc.
Okay, so it was soft sand.
Soft sand. It was a riverbed, dry riverbed.
So he just broke his back.
So I think he broke his collarbone, ribs, some other stuff, but he lived.
So I've been we go to the dunes once a year. We used to, but I've been flying the dunes, like just speed flying, having fun. I was chasing a dog once, and I hooked it after the dog and didn't recover. And I was like, oh shit, my legs broke. I know I'm going to I hooked it in the ground.
Yeah.
And I hit the sand and nothing happened.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I've been taking people out there.
I've
been taking people out there like yearly to go learn to fly parachutes, because I know if you crash, you're not going to get hurt.
That's
and
nice.
I've had guys go in, arms up, legs straight, no flare, just full on face plant the sand. They get right back up and climb the hill.
Wow.
No big deal. Right? For people that are scared to flare. Everybody's scared to flare, So, fuck, riverbed.
Well, getting back to that last video. So what I tell people is, there's like, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to make yourself safe, but one of the things you damn sure don't want to do is like do a turn and then plane out on your rears. Like, that's a lot going on.
Right.
And you can easily fuck it up, like you just saw.
Right.
So you should be planing out on your toggles. And then, like, once you figure it all out and you have like really good consistent landings and you don't have any issues, okay, now I can start messing around with the rears and giving myself a little bit more speed on landing. It's not even going to be that much different. Not going on a slow parachute doing a 90.
Man, okay, so, I mean, not to drag shit out, but what you just said, what you just unpacked was a lot for a new jumper to kind of comprehend on their own.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who's going to tell you to plane out on toggles first?
Well, that's the thing is you need a canopy coach. Like, if you're going to practice high performance landings or maneuvers, even if it's just a toggle 90, that's still a high performance low to the ground, then you need the proper guidance, which is a canopy coach, right?
And what if you don't have one? What if you're in fucking Wyoming at a Cessna DZ?
You got to want it then. You're going to have to travel
and give it,
and
that's
get the
way
coaching.
it is. That's for everything. That's for
anything.
anything.
And then if you can't afford it, or something like that, well, then that's not an activity that you can do right now.
Ooh, this is tough love from Jason Sanders right now. But it's true. It's true. You don't want to fucking try. You don't want to say, here goes nothing, because it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run.
Yeah, and it's all about how much you want it. Like, if you want it and that's what you want, then
you'll sleep in a tent. And you'll eat fucking sandwiches, and you'll get them jump tickets.
Exactly.
I did it. I had to go to Z Hills and sleep in the rain, dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, Jason, thank you, man. It's getting late here at Skydive, Arizona. There's no more jumping. It's hot as fuck. Want to grab the book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this cat, man.
Oh, hey, let's, before we go, I can talk for hours.
Let's go, Jason. Let's go. Keep going. What's up?
So let me switch me back over to my...
So this is his system. This is your system.
Yep.
Look, see how he's not connected to the rig. Look at that Mirage. It's not connected, dude. He's in a totally different thing. He's just sitting. Look, that's the full RDS, so he's got to pull that long-ass thing in. How do you like those? You've probably done it enough that you're over it.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, it's definitely 100% you want to get rid of that stuff. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Such a drag on your chute, you know.
I know, but it is. It means you got to open higher because there's more shit to do. There's more housekeeping.
Yeah, I basically my setup and because it takes me a while to get through my stuff, my
Right.
housekeeping, but also I start my turn at 2,500 feet or higher.
Jesus Christ! I
But
start mine at 9.
But I have to because I'm going so fast. Like you eat up that altitude so fast. But,
What is that right there? That's your rear
just the-
riser. Oh, those, you have trims.
Those are the rings. Those are just the RDS rings from the slider.
Oh, okay. No. It was your toggles are black.
Oh yeah.
I thought those were like
yeah.
dive something on your risers. Okay. All right, now you're setting up, leaning back. 2,500 feet, huh?
Yeah. So like
No toggle stall. You just go straight full flight.
straight into it. Now, I mean, it would be better to keep my hands on the front. You can kind of see I got some tape on there.
I see that.
And that would be the better way to do it, is just have your hands on your fronts, and then as you finish the turn, transfer. So that way you're not giving any input into the wing at all.
Right.
But it's fucking scary. So I've got to keep my hands on my rear.
I hear you. But you could prematurely slow it down out of fear.
Yeah, you could, or like
All right, here's a turn.
even just
That
putting
was
your
a 180.
even just putting your hands on
3.6.
the top on the rears, you're putting
Another
input into the
180.
wing. You know.
Yep, 720 to another 180. No, he's going to, that 180. Look. And here's that carve at the bottom. Bam! Jesus Christ, man. And look how high he is, dude. Oh, fucking Sanders, baby.
But yeah.
Yeah. We're clapping in the studio.
The like I said before, the supine when we were climbing even higher, and yeah, the landing was pretty hard. I hurt myself a few times.
Because in the beginning you were using the traditional climb
Yeah.
technique instead of just figuring out that you could
And you
just
got
haul ass.
so much more downward speed at the end of the landing versus the supine. You got so much forward speed that just keeps carrying.
Right.
That the landing's nothing now. It's pretty soft.
That's how the paramotor is, dude. You go to land and you just overshoot. It does not stop. It
Nice.
just keeps going because you're supine, your back. It's like
Yeah.
you're hanging underneath. That's fucking cool. Grab the book, Jay. Oh, you got something else you want to talk about?
Yeah, let me.
Let's go. Let's plug in, son.
Let's see here.
Man, I'm a bitch under the Valkyrie 90 right now. I'm not even flying at a grid. I know it's okay, but it's not okay. I want to be cool. I want to play now with rear risers. Teach me how to swoop, son.
All right, so like I said, I haven't been able to, especially in competition, have a really nice downwind for distance, right? And I was at Elsinore last summer, and we had a steady 5 meter per second, like
Translates to what? Help me out. 15 feet a second. is
12, 13 miles an hour or
Okay.
something like that.
Sweet.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out there and this is gonna be nice. I'm gonna go out there and actually do a nice downwinder for once. And holy shit, I'll just play it here.
Right. So this is, you said Elsinore?
Yep.
Lake Elsinore. They don't have grass in
I'll
Elsinore,
have
do they?
Actually, I have to reload it. Sorry.
Downwind, 15 miles an hour. What size canopy?
That is a 57,
990s.
990.
That's 2 360s with a 180 people. So he throws the 180 at the front and it is at 720. You motherfuckers are doing 90s. And fucking, oh my God. What the fuck?
Still going. And then I landed.
Look!
So
Oh my God! Okay, if you guys are listening, it's a white dot. He's coming out of the sky, Lake Elsinore. Okay, he sounds like a fight. Listen. Whoa. That's 3 football. That's 4 football fields, dude. It looks like 4 foot.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So
What was it? That was a 990? What canopy was
990.
that?
That's a 57 Petra. So
A 57 Petra. Are you supine? You are supine.
according to the data, the flight site data, I got about 42 feet off the deck. I was at 113 miles an hour horizontal.
Ooh, you don't even drive that on the freeway, bitches. I've been behind you.
And then once I planed out, I was going 108.
Look, he's going 108 right at that gate. Look at that green gate. Look at the green gate. 108. Bam!
And from here to where I stopped was 1,042 feet. So that's 318 meters. That was that was like 117 meters further than my world record that I set the year before. But it's pretty insane, man.
It's fucking, listen, go 90 on the freeway, open the door, and put your face 2 feet from the ground, and that's what it feels like.
And here's the inside, or my view, if you want to check it out.
Let's do this. Jesus Christ. Look, and you're active steering. You're actively, look, and now you're just floating and fucking, and you're still going. Look at that shit. Look at that smile. You had to know. You had to know.
Yeah, it was
You had to know at that moment.
incredibly far and fast.
Look, the supine. Look at him. Look at him. He just went to toggles. Dude, he didn't go to the... Oh, my God. Let me see the outside again, please.
Yep.
And was this training, or are you just fucking around?
I was just fucking around.
Christ, Jesus.
It wasn't even a powerful turn. Like
It just happened to be the downwind,
just like
right altitude,
like,
right pressure.
Yeah.
Look, she turned her camera on. They can't believe it. Listen, they can't even breathe. They can't even breathe. One more time. They can't even breathe. Look, they just hear you coming, dude. Stop. What is that? What? Oh, that's full sail. That's full sail. That's got to be a full sail canopy.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing sounds like that. It sounds like an F-16. Holy fuck. And you want to go faster?
Yes. I want to go faster. But that was.
Do you think you
pretty
can go
intense.
faster and further?
Oh yeah, because I mean, like I said, like that wasn't even a good turn. I think I only got up to like 114 miles an hour vertical, but I can get it up to 128. That's my max.
So what stops you from doing that in competition? It's just the conditions, the winds,
conditions,
and everything's
yeah.
got to be so fucking right.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's hard. You
Yeah.
can't.
And this is like, like I'm not touching the water. I'm not hitting gates.
Dude, that was fucking
like,
amazing. I don't give a fuck. That was amazing.
When you start adding all those things in, it'll take away from it a little bit.
Hey, I hate to bore you guys at home, but I want to watch that shit again. We don't have to. Grab the book. Let's do this, Jay. Hey, we'll do another show. Where are we at? We're like, it got to be 2 hours. Yeah. Hey, WazzyCircus Radio, man. I'm trying to bring you the best. I just did it. This is Jason Sanders, the fastest man.
And
I want to be the fastest man.
You
but
said-
that's vertically.
You said,
Any story you want, just it'll be initialed if somebody's done it.
and then you said this is episode.
77 or 78.
Well, I was born in 77.
I was born in 76. So you were probably 77 because we're not going to count the coaching quarter. Yeah, so you're number 77.
Perfect.
Ain't that awesome? Yeah. So you're 1 year younger than me, man. And you said you were old. I don't feel old.
I don't mean it.
We're rocking, bro. I know there's all these young 20-year-old dudes, but I wouldn't want to be 20 again. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like rocking right now is the prime.
I'd like to keep my mind, but I have the body of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that'd be nice. The pain sucks. Any surgeries?
Yeah. So out here, a while back, 2012, I started using a belly band, swoop band. You know? And during that year, when I started using it, I wasn't competing I was competing, but not that year. And then, so I was just having fun. And as soon as I planed out, I would like lean out in my harness and then stick my legs straight out. So like you're tracking almost,
Yeah, so fun.
And then I would see how close I could get to the ground.
I've done it. I used to
just for fun.
drag chest and then pop out of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I would do it like on the rollout, basically. And so the last time I did it, last time I did it, my knees were just a little bit lower than I thought, and so they caught. And went up in the air, 20-ish feet. I don't really know, but I was hanging outside of my harness, like inverted or whatever, you know. And I just remember trying to swim back up into my harness, and that's the last thing I remember. But I'm assuming I was coming face first to the ground, and I stuck my arm out in front of me, and it severely dislocated my wrist. Broke the 5 bones and some other stuff. But
so he hit his knees. He flipped out over the belly band. He's head low as the canopy hits the ground. He tries to catch himself, dislocates his.
Yeah, and it's I can't use the left hand now to cut away, deploy my reserve. I don't have the dexterity in it anymore. I have to do the two hand.
You have to do the 2-hand.
Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch? I had tears in my right shoulder for a while, so I had to switch to a left deployment until I tore that shoulder.
Shit.
Yeah, fucking, it's what we do, man. It's what you gotta.
Did you get surgery on the right one?
No, I just kettlebelled through it. I don't want surgeries. I had surgery on my left foot, and it took 10 years off my life. The surgery and the recovery, dude. I'm not doing that again. I'm not going under the blade again. I'll figure something out, man.
You can do a lot with just, like you said, with strengthening it, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. So, okay, I know we keep dragging this shit out, but when Nick Batch was leaning out of his harness to plane out that's what I saw. What you just described is what I saw him doing to plane out that Petra by leaning out of the harness to plane out the canopy, right? So I would do it and sink down, touch, and come up. I wouldn't do it on the recovery. That's fucking insane.
It's very scary. But like I was saying though, so at the time we were 57 Petras or something. And when we finished our turn on traditional harness, you're around 280 feet to maybe a little over 300 feet. It's about the altitude, somewhere around there. Well, and your recovery time was 3 to 3.25 seconds in the recovery arc.
Okay.
Maybe 3.5. With that lean out technique, we were getting it down to just over 2-second recovery, and snapping and finishing at 200 feet, 220 feet.
Because you could come out of it that fast by leaning. Wow. That's some timing. That's fucking insane. Because now you're going faster, it's shorter, you're lower, and you're leaning out.
It's very intense, you know. Supine is even better, you know, and it's way safer and more and faster.
So these competitions need to be over lakes with an inflatable pad like they've been doing, right? Keep it real.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see somebody die in the competition.
But I am trying to make, like I said, I'm starting the league, and I'm gonna make the sport safer.
Nice. You heard it here first, motherfuckers.
So I'm changing the speed course. I'm making the distance course safer as well, and probably changing a few rules in the Zone Act as well.
Nice.
But
all right. No shit. There I was. Thought I was gonna die.
Let's see what we got here.
Let's see what we got. WazzyCircus Radio, hit us up, man. Hit us up on Patreon. I'm working on, if you become a member, it will be commercial free on Patreon. So no more ads. You can come and watch it for free. As little as $5 a month, man. You can support your local Freeflyer. These fucking jump tickets are $35 each, baby. All right, Jason Sanders.
That's great. You know, when I started, I think there were $17, and a hop and pop was $8 to $11 depending on what altitude you got out.
So I said it was $20 when I started and $10 hop pops.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Bro.
No, now
hey, Skydive Buckeye, $15 hop and pops. I'm out there every Friday.
Nice.
If y'all want to jump, let's go do some 3-ways from 5, baby. I'm not kidding.
They got a nice little grass strip out there too now, right?
There's no grass in the whole county, bro.
All right. So this is Andrew Gillianson. I was hoping they could shoot straight. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but here's the story. We did a series of demos in a wildlife preserve in Largo, MD in 1975.
We weren't even here yet, buddy.
On one skydive, the spot was off, and it was unclear where we'd land. By the time I was at 300 feet, The lions were staring. Lions? The lions were standing on their hind legs, paws against the tall chain link fence that separated them from the compound and the park visitors and our intended landing area. The big cats were staring up at me under canopy, licking their chops, I think. I was under a PC, not an air ram. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were around. He has no control.
And the park staff and the tranquilizer rifles ready in hand, preparing to put the lions down. On final, I was hoping they could shoot straight. I cleared the fence and the lion compound by 30 feet and changed my underwear shortly after.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, grab a pen. Go ahead and sign that for me. Yo, Canopy coaching first Saturdays of the month. If not, pay him. He's going to tighten you up. And if you want to be a nerd, get a fly site. What's the program? What's the program that goes with the fly site that breaks it down?
Fly site viewer, but then there's another one called G Swoop.
G Swoop. And
Yep.
G Swoop breaks you down every aspect of your turn, the speed, the
Yes.
vertical speed, the forward speed, the angle of attack of the canopy. It figures all of that out.
Yes, it's the algorithm on it. Just puts it all the numbers on the screen for you in graph form as well, versus the fly site viewer that comes with the fly site is great, but you have to decipher the data yourself. It's
Okay.
a little bit more difficult.
So
Whereas
get
like
that
G Swoop would
G-Swoop.
just tell you everything.
Canopy nerds with fly sites and no wingsuits, man. They're out there. They're dangerous people. They're trying to go fast. WazzyCircus Radio, hit us up. Much love. Boom!
Yeah, we can do this anytime.
Welcome to the WazzyCircus Radio, a show where we are documenting skydive history. These are stories that you would only hear around the bonfire on a Saturday night after jumping. This is how I learned to skydive, not only letting go of the plane, but on the packing floor and in the debrief corner. There's nothing sweeter than a case of ice-cold Modelo's while you burn some random couch on an Oklahoma summer night. We left our studio in Austin and made a brief stop in El Paso, where we were able to interview some of the best flyers in the world. Now we've landed here in Arizona, where we can kayak with wild horses down the Salt River. I can fly paramotors through the superstitions and chase my kids on their dirt bikes. We are jumping out of caravans and otters at Skydive Arizona and Skydive Buckeye. And of course, I get to fly with my wife and kids in the beautiful Scottsdale iFly location. Amen? Amen. We're back at it and I need your support. The Patreon is back up and we would love to have you become a member for as low as $5 a month. And soon, we will offer ad-free listening to our members. Please support the show and your local Freeflyer. Again, thank you for your kind words and support. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit.